aware when those things happen.
Thank you, Minister.
Mr. Whalen, you have about 2 minutes.
Thank you very much. Just continuing along on the questions regarding Canada Post, I have to say that in addition to issues regarding housing for seniors, Canada Post questions were probably the second largest volume of questions that I had during the campaign. Every street had someone who's being affected by the reductions of service, and indeed, in the final dying days of the campaign, Canada Post shut down door-to-door mail delivery in a couple of ridings in the country, St. John's East, St. John's South, Mount Pearl, and Charlottetown, only days before the Prime Minister came out with a statement that practice should cease. And indeed, many of the complaints were from people who had legitimate concerns about the location where the mailbox would be going. And so I'm wondering, a couple of questions on that. The first one would be, I didn't see anything in the estimates in allocating any additional funding or allotments towards the task force. So is this something that's being done under existing estimates, or if it's something that's going to be in the next budget? And second, is the task force going to reach out to Canadians and find out, for the people who made complaints to Canada Post, did those complaints result in Canada Post actually pushing forward with bad ideas, or were they actually taking those complaints seriously and addressing them properly, rather than simply using it as an opportunity to punish the people of my riding?
Well, if they did it in your riding, they did it in mine too. But what we are doing with the task force is the cost of the task force will be covered by the department, as will the Secretariat. That will be out of the department, so that's why you don't see an additional request for money. We will ask the task force to look at every possible decision made by Canada Post, whether or not the complaints that they received were responded to. That's all part and parcel of doing a complete independent review of Canada Post. And again, on a go-forward basis, make sure that if there are outstanding issues, that those issues are addressed. One of the issues we recognize, of course, is that Canada Post is an arm's length corporation. So in terms of its operations, it's something that it does what it does because it has to be self-sustainable, and it will continue to have to be self-sustainable. But at the same time, it delivers a service to Canadians from coast to coast to coast, and we want to make sure that that service will continue to be delivered. What that service will be will depend on what Canada Post can afford, because there will not be any money forthcoming from the government where it is an arm's length Crown corporation. But at the same time, we're expecting that the task force in its independent review will look at other avenues of business that could possibly be explored that will enable Canada Post to have more revenue to carry out its responsibility to deliver mail or whatever else it intends to do or can do with the finances available to it.
Thank you, Minister. We're now going to